Hi guys and dolls, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Janay and I'm back with another video. And today we are going to be talking about trauma. But before we get into that, I'm just going to talk about my new setup. This is the room that I'm in right now. It's my new studio and I'm still putting everything together. The picture behind me, I love this picture. It's going to go on the wall soon, but right now I just have it placed behind me. But let's get into our mental health topic for today, and that is trauma. And I love therapistaid.com. They have all these great worksheets and articles, and this is where I find the stuff to talk about and get some ideas from. And I have a worksheet right here, and well, not really a worksheet, but because it's not asking you to fill in anything, kind of like this one, which will be my next topic. So it's not really a worksheet, it's more of an informative article, I guess you could say. So what is trauma? And it defines it for us right here. It says, a powerful emotional response to a distressing event such as war, an accident, the unexpected loss of a loved one, or abuse. Trauma can continue to cause both emotional and physical symptoms for many years after the event has concluded. Okay, and so what are the risk factors for trauma? The traumatic experience was unexpected. The victim had experienced past traumas before. The experience happened repetitively or over a prolonged period of time. The trauma has occurred during childhood. Feelings of helplessness during the experience. The victim is dealing with other major stressors unrelated to the trauma. Okay, so sometimes our environment, there's this debate, this nature versus nurture debate, and it also comes along with the topic of trauma. Sometimes we find nature and nurture in developmental psychology, abnormal psychology, and how it relates to trauma is that your environment, the part that's the nurturing aspect, can be a risk factor for trauma. Let's say you've grown up in a household that was very abusive, physical or emotional abuse. That can be somewhat traumatic, right? So, and the more biological aspect can be how your brain is wired, and sometimes your brain chemistry can even change from having trauma. So I think that's an interesting debate, nature versus nurture. I had to do some more research on that related to trauma. But what are the symptoms of trauma? Everyone experiences trauma in a unique way. Some people will develop every symptom while others develop very few. The following list of symptoms is not comprehensive and should not be used to form a diagnosis. So this is what some of them say right here. Avoidance of trauma reminders including memories, flashbacks to the traumatic event, exaggerated startle response, distressing dreams and other sleep problems, irritability, anger, and other negative emotions, self-blame regarding the traumatic event. And sometimes this can be like survivor's guilt. Why did I make it and the other people didn't? So how do we treat trauma? And here it has 4 ways. It says cognitive behavioral therapy is a common and well-supported treatment for trauma disorders. CBT works by identifying and challenging unhealthy thinking patterns that contribute to the symptoms of trauma. The benefits of CBT can be long-lasting. The next one is exposure therapy. I love exposure therapy, is one of my favorites. For those that know a little bit of my story, you know that I've done a lot of exposure therapy with social anxiety and OCD. So I think exposure therapy is really, really great. And right here it says, the patient is exposed to reminders of their trauma in a gradual and safe way. With enough exposure, the trauma begins to lose its emotional power and the symptoms diminish. Exposure therapies have extensive research support. Our next option is medication. Medication may be used to manage the symptoms of trauma such as anxiety, depression, and insomnia. Medications can be especially valuable when a person's symptoms are so intense that they're unable to participate in psychotherapy. And then we have the block where it says other treatments. Many other treatments such as narrative exposure therapy, eye movement, desensitization and reprocessing, also known as EMDR, and group therapy have all been found to be helpful for survivors of trauma. It's always okay to ask your therapist for what treatments they use. So this is a great, it is great. It tells you everything you need to know about trauma. A little bit more about trauma is that it can also be found in PTSD, as we know as post-traumatic stress disorder, or acute stress disorder, which is like PTSD, but it's for a shorter period of time. And also we know that trauma is also found in dissociative disorders. For example, DID, dissociative identity disorder, also known as multiple personality disorder. Trauma tends to be the basis of that disorder. So enough about trauma. I really hope that you guys found this informative. And please let me know if you like these videos or have any other video topics you would like me to cover. I would be so excited to do that for you all. But I just want to thank you all for tuning in. And I hope that you learned something in this video. If so, give it a like. Also, please comment and subscribe. And you all have a great day. Bye, guys and dolls.